Ciao a tutti! Today I'll be cooking chicken hunter style, which is in Italian Pollo alla Cacciatora. This is a national dish, has got many variations, and it originates most probably somewhere Rome. So today I'll be cooking the Roman version, which is in a white sauce. You might have actually tried it in tomato sauce in the past. I would like to mention that it's Julie and I eating tonight. So I've actually got half a chicken chopped into slightly similar portion sizes. So I've got the leg, the thigh and the breast are done 3 pieces. But let's get going with some cooking. Ensure you've got a nice size pan for this job, as it is useful to give the chicken a good amount of space while it's sizzling. Once the oil is hot, just add the chicken. Make sure that you add it with the skin facing down. Do not remove the skin from the chicken and do not wash it either, please. It is important that you do not remove the skin, as this will release some lovely juices, and it is a shame if you were to remove it.
Obviously, you could, if you really have a big aversion to skin, which some people do, don't they?
A big aversion to skin?
Yeah, they do.
What do you mean?
They do. Some people hate chicken skin.
Oh, well, if you don't like it, by all means.
You've really got a big thing about it.
Oh, yeah,
you could take
by all
it
means,
off.
but it would be a shame. And let it sizzle for a couple of minutes. So keep the temperature on a medium-high, and now you can turn it around. Do not worry if some of the skin gets stuck to the bottom. We will deal with that later. And leave it for another couple of minutes. Maybe you can turn it on a medium heat now. While the chicken is sizzling, we're going to be prepping some of the other ingredients. I've got 1 stem of celery, which I will be chopping into medium chunks. 3 cloves of garlic. Give them a little bash and then chop them into fairly large pieces, maybe 1 or 2 cuts per piece of garlic. I will be cooking potatoes alongside with this meal. I've got 2 white potatoes and a half sweet potato, and I'm going to leave the skin on all of them to give the dish a little bit more flavour and a little bit more substance as well.
Have you pre-washed the potatoes?
Yes, and thank you, Julia. I washed them already and dried them. Ensure that you wash them properly. Try and cut them on similar size, so effectively they will cook all together. You do not have to use the sweet potato, by the way. I've found it in the fridge, and before it goes walkies, I decided to cook it. So you could actually use just white potatoes. But I think it's going to add a nice sweetness to the dish.
I did too.
Okay, so I've got the celery and the crushed garlic together, and I'm going to be adding it to my chicken. I will also be adding a bay leaf and of course my potatoes. Now you can see why you need a fairly large pot for this job.
And I should offer anybody locally, if you want some bay leaves, I've got a whopping great tree in the garden. Come and tell me and I'll give you some.
Turn the temperature up slightly, and I will be adding a generous glass of white wine. This is 200 milliliters. Now, there is some chicken skin attached to the bottom. That is not a problem, because as soon as you put the wine in, it will just come off. Next, I'll be adding a chili pepper. I will be adding this whole, as it is a little bit spicy, and I do not really want all the seeds to come out. And also a few chili flakes. Again, not a lot, mostly because we do not like it too hot. Put your head on top of it, and if you can no longer smell any alcohol, turn it down onto a simmering position, and place the lid on, and leave it now to simmer for the next 25 minutes. I will be checking it in 20 minutes though. So while the chicken is cooking nicely, I'll get some herbs ready. In front of me I've got some rosemary, some fresh rosemary. These are 3 different little branches, which I'm now peeling off. And also I've got some mint. Again, you choose what you like really, but this is what I'm going to be using today. And if you go fresh mint, even better. And also got some sage. I will be adding 1 teaspoon equivalent of salt and some pepper to your taste and liking, of course. And using a knife, start chopping it. You might not know, but by adding the salt to your herbs, effectively, it makes it easier to chop it.
Do you know I learn something new every day?
There you go, I'm fond of knowledge.
Yes, I've been cooking without this knowledge.
This dish in Italy is also very popular with rabbit, which is coniglio, the name for rabbit in Italy. And the history is that actually it's coniglio alla cacciatora, which is what cacciatora is hunters, and what people would go hunting for rabbits. And if they didn't catch a rabbit, then they would cook a chicken instead. So there is the variation there. Also the richness of the spices and the wine, and I'll be adding some vinegar later. Effectively, it's historical when this meat used to be what poor people used to use, and often used to be offcuts from the butcher, as the rich people would get first refusal clearly on the good meat. And what they would do, they would add vinegar and they would add wine to mask some of the taste of the meat, which was roughly gone off. Clearly no longer the case today, but that's how the history has evolved, and this has now become a very stable dish in the Italian cuisine. There you go, a little bit of history for you, Julie.
Font of all knowledge.
Okay, 25 minutes have passed, and we're going to take a look. I did have a look after 20 minutes to ensure that there was plenty of liquid, and as you will see, there is still plenty going on in there, which is great. If you were to run low, you can add a little hot water. Let's have a look. Firstly, it should be cooked. The way you check it, if you are wanting to make sure, just pick one of the biggest pieces, cut it through it, and you can see that there are no red liquids coming through. But it's going to be cooking for a little bit longer anyway. So I will be picking up my battuto, that's called battuto in Italian, of herbs and salt and everything else, and add it to it. Also, I've got a handful of pitted green olives and black olives. The black olives have got the pit in them. You can choose any type of olives you like. This is what I've got in my cupboard, and I add them as well. And this is my personal addition to the dish. Some sun-dried tomatoes. The olives were draining with some oil, so they've been marinating nicely, and I will add them as well. It's literally about 3 or 4 pieces in there. Make sure that you get all of the oil out as well. Turn the heat up slightly. Give everything a good stir. So the heat is on quite vigorously now, and I will be pouring literally 50 milliliters of white wine vinegar.
Could you add red if you didn't have white?
You can, yes. It's
Wouldn't make that much difference.
not much difference at this stage, no.
Smell it. That smells lovely.
Yeah, the vinegar. The one thing you need to check is also your potatoes. I haven't checked them, so let's have a look. Yeah, they are almost done. So again, I'll be turning the heat down on a simmering temperature. I'll place the lid on for another 4 or 5 minutes for now. In the meantime, I've got 30 grams of flour and a little tepid water, warm water. I'm using the kettle as I boiled it earlier. So this is not boiling hot, but it's just lukewarm. And
Just what warm?
lukewarm. Why? What is it? You're horrible.
Sorry, lukewarm.
Oh, lukewarm. There you go.
Lukewarm. I don't suppose you've ever used that term before.
God. As I said before, I've only been here 30 odd years.
Yes. Still not ready?
No, it's done. It's all melted. It's ensure that there are no lumps left, by the way, and your lukewarm water has done the job. So I'm going to be adding it to the chicken now. The flour and the water will make sure that you get a nice creamy sauce at the bottom. So I will be putting the lid back on, and I will leave now for another 10 minutes, and then it will be ready. And we are done, we're ready. Just taking off the heat. The smell is really good. Just give the bottom a little check to ensure that there is nothing stuck, and I can see that it's all free. You can see the lovely cream I was referring to earlier. So you have created this nice white sauce, and it smells really good, doesn't it? I will be serving a little portion. Maybe a bit of breast for now. We're going to be eating ours with some greens and carrots, but you can choose whatever side you like, of course.
I don't know that this is actually
What is that?
delish.
Great, all that is left to do is now to taste it. And I will be tasting some chicken with a piece of potato to start with, and some of this lovely juice. My God, it's lovely, absolutely delicious. You can taste the vinegar, but it doesn't taste of vinegar, which is very strange. And you can also, the herbs, the combination of the rosemary and all of the other herbs, the sage and so on, really, really delicious. The olives and the sun-dried tomato add a nice level to it. I will also try a little scarpetta, which is sliced bread, and to mop up some of the juices. I've got a piece of tiger bread here. Don't worry, Julie, I'll leave the knobbly bit at the end for you. I know you like the knobbly bits. And this is a very, very Italian thing, by the way, la scarpetta. And in a dish like this, it's absolutely compulsory. It's lovely. You could just eat that on its own. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you make your pollo alla cacciatora with the white sauce. And ciao ciao for now, alla prossima volta, bye.